Hi, good morning. Hi, fellow educators. Welcome to the Profitable Impactful Educator series, PIE series. We are a tutor training academy to equip growth-oriented tutors to increase profitability, to deliver impactful, transformative teaching, and to raise the standard of the tuition industry. Hi, today we have Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hey, hi, Jason.
Yeah,
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming to the show. Okay, very privileged to have you. Now, to our dear educators, if you are watching this, please remember to say hi and in the comment section and share this to anyone who might benefit from this show. Now, this program is only possible with the dedicated support of my fellow community builder, Jeffrey Teo. Jeffrey, please come on to the scene and say hi. Thank you, Jeffrey. Right, in this episode, Alex will be sharing on the topic of how to achieve building tuition community for the long-term game. So first of all, I would like to read out some introduction about Alex. Alex Low is a consultant and coach in the fitness, health, and wellness space, business owner, loving husband, and doting father. His compass is guided by the desire to help people, having successfully built and maintained communities across Southeast Asia over the years. His focus is to help businesses and organizations harness community as the vehicle to connect, to build credibility, trust, and authentic relationships. Alex spent the last 20 years in a non-linear career path, working in different industries and helming leadership roles with a keen focus on transferable skill sets and competencies. He has realized that being a generalist as opposed to a specialist has allowed him to excel in the different industries and roles he has held. The desire to want to share his experience and to help others achieve similar success as well is what fuels his decisions and actions. In this episode of PIE, Alex will be sharing how to build a tuition community of students and parents for the long-term game. Okay, Alex, very decorated career history and very interesting. I particularly like the word non-linear. That speaks a lot. That speaks a lot. Okay, so a little bit of fun fact about you. Okay, I know that you were a professional athlete for a couple of years, and you represented Singapore in the sports of water polo.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes,
wow.
I did. Yes.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, so can see that you are still very active and keeping yourself very fit.
I try, right? Especially moving into my 40s, right? I realized in my mid-30s that I better do something, otherwise I don't want to be going downhill from there.
Okay, I see. Right. So I know you briefly mentioned in the introduction about your career history, but I'm very interested to know what got you started in this path of community building. Let me just set the stage a little bit. I first got to know Alex when I was cracking my head when I was really trying to do a better job for one of the tutors community which I co-founded, Tutors Assemble, and I was searching high and low for some help who can guide me in community building, and I stumbled upon Alex's post on LinkedIn because in your profile you stated yourself as community builder. So I was like, wow, I see light. So I quickly drop you a message and say, hey, Alex, if you have time, can I learn from you? I really need some help in how to build a better community. So you were very generous with your time. You say, okay, let's hop on to a Zoom call. And I remember, I think you were actually taking some time out from your family gathering or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had a quick Zoom call, and that's how I got to know you. Yeah, so appreciate that very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So what got you started in this community building effort?
So actually, with community building, the word or the term wasn't really in existence in my career or in my life until 2018, when I was actually working in the co-sharing space, co-sharing economy. So I was working for Core Collective as general manager. I was part of the pre-opening team, and suddenly I found myself in this co-sharing space. And I realized after going to a conference in India, it was a co-working conference, that, hey, this word community building is such a buzzword that's used everywhere, right? Businesses, companies, they're hiring community executives, community associates, community this, community that. But on the ground, we are realizing and finding out that, hey, there are so many people that are burning out from their specific roles of being a community executive or leader or whatever you want to call them. And we said, I think we need to build a community for community builders to ensure that they do not spiral into that burnout stage, right? And with more understanding of the role, we also realized that community building is not centered specific to a role as a community builder. And as a community builder, for example, you, Jason, you're a business owner, you're a community builder. I'm a business owner, I'm a community builder. Anyone and everyone is a community builder, as long as you believe that this is something that you want to be doing for your respective or specific business. And rightly, with today's topic, is for the long-term game. When we do something like community building, we are building loyalty, we are building trust, we are building credibility. It's not something where immediately 2 weeks social media campaign and I want to see that ROI immediately, right? The ROI you see is you're looking at least 6 months, 12 months, maybe even 24 months. So why build community? That's something that we need to understand. And I think coming into this community building space and starting Kampong Collective, which we've been around for almost 2 years, it was actually only during the circuit breaker last year that really got me thinking and doing a lot of reflection in my 20-year non-linear career, right? And realizing that, hey, everything that I've been doing all this while has an element of community building. And that's something that I enjoy doing. And that's something that I have been fairly good at doing. If I were to look at my peers and my other colleagues, why was I doing that better than other people? Because I enjoyed doing it and I was also good at doing it. And then I picked up all the distill all the essence or the skill sets that were required of being a good community builder. And right now we are trying to connect more people who are community builders, whether you're in the online space, the offline space, hybrid space, profit, non-profit, volunteer, government, NGOs. So different people would be in different stages of their community building journey. They could be just starting, they could be not knowing anything about it and suddenly finding out about it and realizing that, hey, I think this is what I can do or what I want to do. And yet there are others who've been in businesses a long time and have been building community, but they didn't even know that it's called community building. So it's just putting a term probably to something that has already been in existence. And right now we are tagging in a lot of enablers, right, to ensure that if you want to build community or if you want to be a good community builder, these are the different things that you should be doing. And of course, blueprint is blueprint, but in reality, things are different. There are many, many variables. So it's always very difficult to say, this is the template and this is the blueprint. Please go and follow it, right? So that's how I ended up even being more entrenched in the work as a community builder and starting my own business, Aviary & Co., my own consultancy, where community building actually is one of the key functions or expert knowledge that we can do to help, whether it's businesses or individuals, build respective communities in the business that you do. Of course, my focus is fitness, health, and wellness, but I also have clients and good network outside of that fitness, health community space. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your company? What exactly do you do?
Right. Okay. Sure. With Aviary & Co., we are a consultancy, and we focus on helping businesses and individuals in the fitness, health, wellness space. We do 4 things, or we try to do 4 things. We aspire to do 4 things. One is to lead with clarity. So identifying your purpose. There are some people that might be doing something that they don't know where the end goal is. They don't know what are the milestones, or they don't even know why they're doing that in the first place. So leading with clarity, that's important. The second thing is to unlock fruitful solutions. So you might have an idea, but you don't know where to go from there. Or you might be in that specific business for a long time already and you've reached a plateau, right? So how do you unlock certain solutions to go for the next exponential growth in your respective business? The third thing is to experience growth, which is also very similar to being able to unlock that solution or that unlock that potential. And the last thing is, of course, to achieve success, with success, it's always tagged on to revenue, it's always tagged on to profit. Because, I mean, we don't run businesses as a charity, right? Even if you're a social enterprise, you also have to be making money, making revenue to sustain the staff that you have that is running the entire organization. Right, so that's what Area & Co is. As a consultant, the secondary functions of the business include coaching. So as a business coach, as a career coach, I also do facilitation and training for personal development and skills mastery. And I've also been invited to do keynote speaking. The thought leadership that is tagged on to what I do is, of course, community building. That's one. And also on resilience and mental toughness. Recently, I've also been speaking quite a bit. So I've got a daughter. She's 2.5. I am quite an active father, and I was invited to speak at a preschool, talking about navigating parenthood, right? How to build resilient children. So my topic of passion and topic of interest, and which lies within resilience and mental toughness. Now I am also applying to not specifically children or early childhood, but it's more to help parents understand how they can actually have the strategies to build resilience and mental toughness in their children at a different stage of their life. And I'm I guess a life example with what I do with my daughter.
Okay. So you bring your daughters for various activities to train her up for resilience since young?
It's not so much bringing for specific activities, but yes, that's included. But I think it's the sort of interaction that we have at home. It's how my wife and I approach certain situations. It's how we have those meaningful discussions. Those, why are you doing this? Asking those questions, right? And, when she is encountering challenges or problems, how do we deal with those situations, right? So I think it's not so much the types of activities that we are sending her for, but it's more of how we deal with or how we parent her, not just in the home environment, but also in the external environment. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay, so for audiences out there, if I know that Daniel just said hi. Hi, Daniel. Okay. I'd like to encourage everyone who is watching. If you find that this is building community, as what Alex has been talking about, right? If you feel that community is important for your business and community of parents, community of students, then please share and drop a comment or drop your questions. Later we'll come back to the Q&A part, and like Daniel can just drop a hi, okay, to say hi to us. All right. So next one, I would like to move on to ask you about the 3 biggest advice that you can give us on how to build community.
Sure, right. Yeah. Just before I start on that, I just wanted to say that it's great to be on this show speaking to educators, because I used to be an MOE teacher. So I was a PE teacher for 8 years before I moved out to the dark side, right? To go out there in the private sector, right? So if there are any MOE teachers here or ex-MOE teachers here, hello, nice to meet you guys, right? I'm an old bird from the last time, right? So when I was in education, I taught from 2004 to 2013. So I spent 8 years in the same school. I was at Temasek Junior College. I was a PE teacher, and I was also the swimming teacher, coach, a water polo coach. And when I left education or the service, I was actually head of department for student leadership. So that was a huge focus of my work was in character development as well as leadership education. Yeah. So so just a little bit about the past, right?
Yeah. And interestingly, one of our previous previous instructor, Seaway, right? He was your student, right?
Yes. He was my student.
Oh my God. What a small world.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite amazing to see some of my ex-students being so successful doing whatever they're doing right now, whether it's working for an organization or they're running their own business or startup. And it's nice, right? And some of them would see me in the hawker center, and I assure you have that experience as well, right? Hey, Mr. Lee, or Mr. Low, how are you? Do you remember me? Yeah. So I kind of like, it's bittersweet like experiences, and
Why
because
bittersweet?
I mean, teaching was a good time for me. I learned a lot, right, in education. I think I actually wrote an article about, 10 reasons why teaching should be your first job, right? So teaching actually set the foundation for me in terms of values education. So being able to understand values and teach values helped to solidify that in me, so that when I went out there into the private sector, I think I had some strong pillars to help me be successful to what I'm doing right now, or in the different things that I did along the way, different industries as well as different verticals. And bittersweet, because the time as a teacher at that time, now I'm not sure, maybe things are different. It was quite a good life, good job, good life. Whereas coming out now, in the private sector, a lot of different things to worry about. You don't get your AWS, you don't get your performance bonus, that kind of thing. So it's a different lifestyle. It's a different lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yes.
But I would say I'm in so much more control of my time. So revenue, definitely less, right? Surprisingly, revenue is less. But I think the quality of life, as well as the happiness and fulfillment, I think that one money cannot buy. So depends on how you weigh that balance on the scale. Yeah.
Yeah, depends on priority. I do agree that as a package if you consider about the package, it's really hard to beat. Yeah, and what you said just now, I think MOE should definitely use it as a recruitment ad. Teaching should be the first job.
In fact,
I
with starting at Avery and Co, and with meeting a lot of other ex-teachers out there, what we realized was that MOE doesn't prepare teachers for the private sector, and I think that is the problem, right? So why do you not want to prepare your teachers for the private sector? You're assuming that they're going to be teaching for the rest of their lives. Yes, maybe that's a good case, but not everybody has that sort of linear career, right? Or not everybody wants that sort of linear career. So how then can HR provide certain resources where, if teachers want to transit, out of education? A lot of teachers say that after 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, I leave and I start off as an intern, in a new job, because I feel that, my 10 years in teaching meant nothing. But how can 10 years in teaching, doing all the stuff that we do, mean nothing to going out in the private sector? It's absolutely ridiculous, because we have so much more value to bring out there in the private sector, right? So anyway, I'm digressing here, right? So let's get back to my question of how then do you build community, right? What are the 3 tips? I think the first thing is really to go back to your why, right? So why did you start doing what you're doing in the first place? And since this is an educator series and everyone here is starting or has their own tuition center, you might be private tutors, why are you doing this in the first place, right? Yes, we all need to be earning a certain amount of profit or revenue to sustain the mortgage, to sustain the car, to send our kids through education, to put food on the table. But really, if we were to remove all of these externalities, you've got no family, you've got no children, you're on your own, one person, right? Why are you still doing that? Why are you still teaching? Why did you start your tuition center? What is it that you are passionate about? And what is that knowledge of value that you want to continue imparting to other people, so that maybe there's going to be a ripple effect, and you want to teach and help more people be successful, not just now in this current present moment, but what is that lifelong benefit or value that you will bring to all the people that come through your tuition center, right? So I think that is the most important thing, your objective of starting, the purpose, your why, right? And also the objective. Why did you? So you have a business, right? So that's your purpose fulfills your business, right? Or your business fulfills your purpose. But then, what is the community that you have? Is it an existing community? Is your community your clients? Or is your community your clients and their friends and anybody else that is following you, right? So how then do you build that community, right? What is the objective of having that community? If there's an existing community out there, let's say like PIE, that can provide you everything that you need, then being a part of PIE is sufficient for you to meet your needs already. There's no need for you to go out there and replicate and do something exactly the same as PIE, right? Because there's a community already that's serving your needs. And if you feel that, okay, maybe PIE is not the right community for me, or, at any one point, you could be involved in 10, 20 different communities. Some of them, you could be just a silent follower. You see whatever information is out that's being pushed out to you. Some of them, you are co-leading. Some of them, you're really leading and driving, right? So it's important to place yourself in different communities. I think don't be too fixated on just one, because by being involved in different communities, it actually allows you to learn, right, from different sources. You get to network, you get to meet new people, you get to understand how different people are doing things, and then you also get to ask questions, right? So I think coming back to your why, knowing your purpose and knowing how your business supports your purpose and how your purpose supports your business, and then the community that you have, what are the objectives of starting that community? So that's the first thing. If you don't even know that, then you really need to ask yourself, why the hell am I having this community? Right? Is it formed by itself organically? Okay, yeah, it did form organically, but you still need to establish why that community exists. Because if you are not able to understand why your community exists, then you're not going to be able to meet the needs of that community. Maybe it exists for that short period of time, and then after the needs are no longer met, then it fizzles off and dies off. Is that what you want? Maybe that's what you want. Perfectly fine, right? But if you want to actually have a long-term gain from that community that you build, whether it's organically or whether it is purposeful or purposely that you did build that community, then you really need to understand the purpose, the objectives, and it's going to be a lot easier as you move through when the community starts growing. It's easy if it's a 10-person community, but once it grows to the hundreds, right, or maybe even the thousands, then it's going to be difficult to manage already, and you don't want it to go out of control, right? So the first tip would be coming back to your why. The second thing is to be authentic, right?
Yeah.
With authentic.
Before we go on to the second question, the second tip, right? Okay, I noticed that some of the we have Daniel who said hi. Okay, so I would like to encourage that if you have any questions, okay, this is the perfect time to ask to post a question in the comment section, and then we have a Q&A later. And actually, we have one question from Jeffrey. Do you mind if we take that question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So Jeffrey asked, right? Okay, how do we promote engagement in any given communities? Say, for example, PIE.
How do we promote engagement in any different communities? Right. I think that with that engagement, it also comes down to what are the needs of your community, right? So if you are pushing out information or coming up with events or activities that does not meet the needs of your community, then why would they engage? For example, we are having today's session on building community for the long-term game before your tuition center. If this is not something that the community needs or wants, then they possibly might not be interested and would not be tuning in to listen to us today, right? If we are pushing out information or content or strategies or tips that has no relevance to what they want or what they need, then it's going to be difficult to get that engagement. And even then also, sometimes it's a trial and error, right? So the best way to understand what your community needs is to ask them. And what are the different channels or platforms for you to ask? Is it through social media? Is it through a newsletter? Is it through WhatsApp? Is it through a Slack group, a Telegram, or maybe even you're going to call them to say, hey, how are things? And, we just want to get your feedback on this and that. So what are the ways that you want to be getting feedback? That is something that would be, I think, specific to each community. So it's a bit hard to say. You need to identify what that channel is. And after knowing what they need, and then you can go back and say, okay, this is what they need. How then can I come up with something that is relevant to what the community needs? And with that, even after you're doing it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe You need to try and see, okay, let me try it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then you see the engagement coming up, right? If the engagement still doesn't come up, then it's back to the drawing board, and maybe that's not the right thing to be giving out. Maybe it's the right content, but it's not the right medium or channel that is being pushed out on, right? So then go back to asking your community again. So there must be a constant feedback loop with your community to understand and ask them what their needs, what their relevant needs are. Yeah.
So regarding the first advice, right, you say always come back to the why. I remember when we first met online, I asked you a question because that's really bothering me. So personally, I as a co-founder of the community Tutors Assemble, I put in some effort to build a community, to set the rules and to bring in members. So one of the things that because after all, I'm an entrepreneur. So I run my business. I'm responsible for the P&L. So I think it applies to all the tutors, all the educators that's in our audience, right? So we are all always thinking about how do I grow my business, and when I put in all this effort, right, what is the ROI? Why am I doing that? So one of the questions that I asked you, I remember, was that how do I monetize my effort in community building? Yeah. So is that can that be one of the whys? Like I want to monetize my community. Can it be one of the why, or is it that does it actually defeat the purpose of a community?
I think the monetizing your community shouldn't be a primary reason or purpose, right, for why you're doing what you're doing, or the primary why, but it could possibly be a byproduct of the primary why, because that's what we need and want to at the end of the day, right? So which comes to the part on authenticity. So I think we lead on from this question to the next point, which is authenticity, right? So why then are you building that community? So when you're pushing out some information, when you are interacting with somebody in the community, is it because you want them to be a member, pay a monthly subscription, because you want them to? So the intent of what you're doing, I think, is important. And if you are not authentically wanting to help this person be better at his job, to provide better resources such that he can be a better tutor, to also then be more profitable, then the authenticity is not there, the intent is not there. If you are all out, there are certain professions out there which are famous for being people where I only want your dollars and cents, right? So if you are in that position, then I think the authenticity element is totally lost. And although some might not be discerning enough to know it, at some point, people will realize it and say, hey, this fella is not genuine in his intentions, and I don't want to be a part of this community anymore. And because a particular individual is in that community anyway, there could be chance where word spreads, right? And then you end up having a negative feedback on what you're trying to be doing. So the intent must always be right. It must be authentic. You must be authentic to your purpose. It must be authentic to your why. And this should not be making money shouldn't be your top priority or primary reason or your why. It should be a byproduct of what you're doing. And as we mentioned earlier already, the ROI is not something where you're looking at immediate returns, right? It's 6 months, 12 months, and many months down the road sort of ROI. So it's also a little bit difficult to quantify. If you keep doing what you're doing and expecting the ROI even at 6 months and 12 months, then you are faced with a situation where you are chasing the ROI and you are no longer fulfilling your purpose and your why, which is why point number one is always to come back to your why. Because at some point, you might be chasing the numbers, the engagement, and the what have you. And then you realize that, why am I so stressed out about the numbers? Why am I so stressed about the people not coming in? Why am I so stressed out about people not registering and signing up to be a member? Then you go back to your why and say, oh, okay, yeah, it's because this is my why. Chill, right? That's not the reason why I started this, right? I've got my tuition center and that's already bringing me revenue. What I'm doing here is to provide a secondary service, and this is my reason why I'm doing it, right? So that's why we always come back to the why. You could be coming back to it as regularly as you need to, or as regularly as you want to, but I think once a month is a good time check for yourself, or time check for the people within your center, right? Management or key decision holders to come back. Why are we doing this? Why do we start that, right? And with that, leading into that question of authenticity, or the tip or point on authenticity, it's really about why don't have an ulterior motive into why you are doing a particular something, right? Don't for example, I wouldn't recommend you to somebody else to be a tutor, for example, just because I want you to be, or I know that you'll be helping me come on this show, and I'm going to be able to speak to hundreds of other tutors who would possibly engage in my service. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it from the own goodness of my heart, because I believe that community building is something that needs to be informed to business owners out there. And if people are willing to ask, I'm willing to share, right? But of course, if you ask me every day, Alex, can we have a 1 hour conversation? Of course cannot, right? So that one time off conversation was good enough to actually kickstart you, and
Yes.
to help to get to have you affirm or be affirmative about what you were actually feeling, but you were just unsure about whether it was the right thing to feel, or the right thing to do, right? And having that sort of confidence actually gave you the courage to then continue. And I think now you're in a good space, so I'm really happy to see that.
Thank you very much. I think that the word courage is really important. You did give me courage, and in the beginning, I wasn't clear about the why. So to the audience out there, if you are not clear about your why, I think this is the perfect time to clarify. Is this a worthy why? Because as Alex has been mentioning, right, that's the bedrock, that's the foundation of your entire community building effort. So you get it wrong, and then you will lose authenticity. And then I think the first time when I meet you, right, Alex, you what you said, it resonated with a part of what I believe, because I couldn't be sure, because it seems to me like, as entrepreneur, everything we do should be something to do with dollars and cents. Otherwise we are not being responsible, right, for our families, and being not responsible use of our time. But what you said give me the courage to really do things for the pure intent of wanting to benefit other people. And it's really, what I'm hearing from you is really a social thing, right? It's like you really want to help people. That's the why. And it's not about trying to make some money out of other people.
Exactly, because I see this as short-term gain. I see this as, you can use a negative connotation where it could be possibly manipulative, right? So understanding, you take a stone and you throw down the streets, there'll be 9 out of 10 people that would say that, oh yeah, my why is to help people, right? So possibly, everyone out there that's listening is maybe to help people, maybe it's to add value, but you need to dig deeper on what is that help that you're providing. So this then boils down to, what are your skill sets, right? What are your hard skill sets? Some of you are expert in a particular subject of academia, right? Some of you are experts in particular way of teaching the way that the subject that you are specialized in. So then, how then do you make sure that this is the way that you can roll out to your community, or to the people that want to engage in your services? So I think that's important to understand, right? By coming, and it's not a one-day thing. It's not after today's session of 1 hour, when you hear us talk, you're going to suddenly think, I know my purpose, I know my why, right? You need to sit down and go through that process of, flow charts, writing down what I like, what I don't like, what are the things I've been good at doing, the different jobs that you've been in, maybe even as a student, what were the different activities that you really like doing and why were you good at doing that? And did you lose the spark along the way, when you went out to be an adult? Was it maybe family pressure or societal pressure that caused you to be doing something that you actually didn't know you wanted to do, and then since you did it, you just went with the flow of it, right? So how then do you identify all of that? And it's really just tracking through, from the time that you can remember what you did as a student, the different activities, the different CCAs, and then your first job, your internships, so many things, right? And even not just work specific, we can even think about it from a social, right? So which are the communities, friends that you like hanging out with more? If you are involved in religious organizations, do you like to go to church? If you do, then why do you like it? Which are the different people or types of activities do you gravitate more towards? So all these things will then contribute to you understanding that deeper understanding of your why, and then you'll be able to pin down and write your purpose statement, right? And I think that is also something important within any individual or any business or community's vision, right? That's something that is always important to do.
Okay, we have a question here. So from Jeffrey. Jeffrey asks us, what kind of community rules do you advocate in your years of community building? Okay, is this an appropriate question at this point?
I think it's perfectly fine, no problem. I can take
great.
the questions as they come. Yeah, so it really depends on what you want for your community, right? So then again also a little bit hard to answer this question because different communities, and you set your own rules. There's no such thing as I must follow some guidelines or some standards, right? You set your own rules based on what you feel you want from the community because it's a community that you start. And what would be ideal would be to actually have a core group of people within that community to be like the board of directors kind of thing, right? Not to be so to be a little bit more, get different perspective, right? So you could handpick these individuals because maybe they are your friends, or maybe these people are a little bit more active, so they become the leaders within the community. So understanding from these people and coming up with the community rules together would be something that would be beneficial, rather than you coming up, or you could come up with it first and then you can check in with these guys. Hey, what do you think of this, right? Or you could actually all come up with it together. So I think it's important to have community rules, but it also depends on what the community, what the community is supposed to function as, right? So with Kampong Collective, we don't have specific rules where you need to be doing a particular something or you cannot be doing. Okay, I think there are certain respect, decorum rules which are very common to any group that you join, right? So these I don't think we need to stress too much. But yeah, when you think of community rules, Jeffrey, what sort of maybe you can give me some examples, then maybe we can actually talk about it here.
Yep, Jeffrey, please leave a comment. And for our audience out there, if you have communities and you're wondering what kind of rules you need to set for your community, or whether the rules that you have set, is it too strict, is it too lenient, and how do you use rules to shape the kind of behavior that you want to see in the community? Please feel free to post questions here in the comment section. We'll come to it. And and if you find that community building, that what Alex is talking about here, can benefit your friends, your fellow educators, please help to like our video and to share it. Now, when we come to talk about rules, right? Okay, let's see whether Jeffrey has already come back to the comments. Okay. Okay. Okay, through the backstage, I can see that Jeffrey says that doesn't have the comments. Okay, so yeah, we have this little backstage window for the audience out there. All right, so okay, shall we move on to the next point then?
My third tip, right?
Number 3. Yeah.
Yes, my advice, tip number 3 is to be consistent, right? So what do I mean by being consistent? It's about pushing out the similar kind of information that the community is looking for. And it's also about having that regular feedback that you're getting from the community. You don't just ask one time and then, okay, disappear for 12 months and then suddenly ask another time, right? I think that 1 year loop is a little bit too long. It could possibly be a quarterly loop or even a monthly loop. And even with these feedback loops, you can then ask your community, how often do you want us to ask you? Right? Some of them will say never. Okay, if it's never, then maybe don't ask them anymore, right? But there will be different individuals that would be always willing to contribute. And this is that 10% of your community that you want to be having a constant engagement with, right? And these would be like your community ambassadors or community champions within the group itself. So be consistent in terms of the interaction that you have and engagement. The next thing is to be consistent with the content that is being pushed out, and the content as well as the tone, right? So how are you pushing out that information? And all of this needs to be as authentic as possible anyway. One way that I always tell friends and even clients is, if you are yourself all the time, you don't need to worry about having different personas. You don't need to worry about saying the wrong thing. And you don't need to worry about having that sort of imposter syndrome, right? If you are rolling out information that you know only a little bit about, then that is something that is questionable. But if you're rolling out information that is something that you are a thought leader in, is something that it's aligned to your values, it's something that you do day in, day out, then it is very authentic to you as a business, to you as a person. And also it builds on that consistency, right? So with the purpose building, with the authenticity, with the consistency, it then builds that trust, right? And trust is not a short-term kind of value, right? Trust needs to be built over time, over years, over actions. Is, you know, people always say actions speak louder than words, right? You need to walk the talk, right? So that's where the trust actually comes in. And then in the long term, that's where you build that credibility and you become that top of mind recall, right? You want your community to have the top of mind recall, to immediately recommend to friends or whatever that, hey, if you're looking for this particular product or this particular service, this is the person to go to, right? So that's where you have that credibility. That's where you have that loyalty. That's where you have that long-term game. If somebody is in your community, right, is a student or a parent sends the child to your center, and maybe they relocate, you know, to another country, and they come back again in 3 years, and if they had a good experience within your community, even if they didn't engage in that 3 years that they were gone, chances are they will still come back to you, right? Because they feel that trust, they know that you're a credible resource, and they would immediately come back to you. If they have any friends back where they've relocated to, and these people are coming to Singapore, they would immediately say, go check out this place because we have a very good experience. So with the trust and credibility and loyalty, I think what you're building is the is the word of mouth referral, which I think we all know is the most powerful resource, and it's probably a 99% sort of conversion kind of marketing, right? So think along those lines if you want to sort of like tune your brain towards the ROI element. But that said, it's not something that will happen next week. It might, but don't expect it to happen. The thing is, don't set any expectations. Just let it move organically. Yeah. Otherwise, you might be setting yourself up for disappointment. Yeah.
So stick to the why, be authentic, and be consistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these 3 great tips from Alex. So if viewers out there, if you have any questions that you want to dive into, okay, please leave a comment. And if you think that this show is going to benefit your friends, your fellow educators, please like and share our video. Now, I want to just ask this question about there is this there is this particular episode. Once I asked somebody, right, whom I think that is rather suitable for the community that I'm building. So I asked this person, I said, hey, why don't you join the community? So she gave me a very interesting answer. She said, I have thanks for the invitation, Jason, but no thanks, because I've joined so many communities and they all just come and go. And sometimes it's very messy. And I don't want to join any more communities. So I just wonder, is that true? Because I have not been in many communities. And how do we prevent this kind of experience how do we prevent giving this kind of experience to people?
I think that, it's a very valid and good example that you gave, right, Jason? Thanks for bringing it up. And I think that if you were to follow the steps of what's your purpose, what's your why, and then being authentic and being consistent, I think it is definitely going to sustain that community over time, right? And even when you build communities, no doubt you might be the founder, co-founder, or the key personnel behind it. There could be a possibility where you could even be handing over the baton to somebody else to also be managing that community, right? So what with the, maybe I can take the question that Jeffrey asked, right, with the rules, right? So then with all of these rules, perhaps it's not so much about rules, perhaps it's more about values. So what's the etiquette? What are the values that we want to be establishing within this community, such that if I were to hand over the baton to somebody else, they just follow the rules, right? But of course, because it's not you, this person might be managing it slightly differently. But as long as the values are followed, then the community still meets the needs of the people within the community, and the community can still thrive and grow and function, right? So I think it's all about the values that you set and how this is actually aligned, right? If this person that you mentioned, she joined the community and they always fizzle out, right? Perhaps there is little engagement. Perhaps the people that started the community did not understand the needs of that community, and therefore this person didn't feel like she was being heard. She didn't feel like she was receiving the right information, and therefore there was no point for her to be in that community. And I'm sure everyone else in that community felt that same way, which is why it slowly fizzled out. Or maybe, like what we said, right, what's your why? Maybe this community was started just for a specific reason, to meet a need at that time, and then after that it didn't need to be met anymore, and so it would die its own natural death, either deliberately or maybe it was unintentional. But I think we still point back down to the 3 tips, and we can always fall back on these things that we talked about earlier.
It may not be a bad thing, right, when the community has served its purpose and it fizzles out. Because I remember during COVID times, there was this tutor group that there was just suddenly have many members, and I think that it served a very good purpose. It helps tutors to migrate to online for that particular period, and after that, everybody goes back to phase 2, phase 3, go back to their own way of doing things. Yes. And so maybe this community will slowly fizzle out, right?
Yes, yeah, perfectly fine, right? It's perfectly fine. Yeah. And whoever who started the community, you learn from the experience. And if you were to start another community, then you know how to do it and what to do. And I think that if we provide value in the time that that community is in existence, then we've probably or perhaps met the needs of that community, and it's time to move on, right? So I think it's maybe an ego issue when, let's say, if I'm a founder of a community, I feel there's a slight emotional attachment to why I started the community, but then we need to understand that if the community is not engaged anymore, it serves its function, then we will need to be letting it fizzle out, and we can move on, start something else, or just take a break and don't do anything for the time being. You don't always need to be leading a community, but like I said, you should be involved in multiple communities.
Okay, be involved in multiple communities. It kind of like cross-pollinate kind of thing, right?
Yeah, that could be the case as well, right? Because you're increasing your network, you understand that somebody here might actually benefit from somebody there, and as much as we feel that as community builders, as much as we feel and think that it's a natural for people to make that sort of connection, it's actually not natural. That's something that I've come to understand and learn, right? When I meet somebody today and I meet somebody next week, if I find that both of them, even though they don't know each other, but there's a possibility or potential for them to work together, I would introduce them. But a non-community builder would not have that mindset and would just see these two individuals as in silo, as separate entities or individuals, and never ever make that the brain will not connect to say, hey, maybe I should introduce person A to person B because they can benefit from being friends. Yeah.
So it's really to think about for other people, what is in, how can I help other people, and also having the connecting kind of mindset, like to be
Yes.
a connector.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. Right. And
Yeah.
maybe I'll just speak a little bit about. So I during the circuit breaker, I did an interview series called the Community Builders Speak, where I interviewed over 20 different individuals that are in the fitness and wellness business, and they're business owners. Some of them are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and trying to understand what does community mean to them and how have they been able to build community. Right, so a lot of these people didn't even realize that what they were doing is called community building. But the common theme or common thread that runs through all of these successful, I'm not saying that they are not successful, is that they build community, whether they call it community or not, for the benefit of their clients. So you need to think for your client, think for your patient, think for whoever you're doing this for, rather than think for yourself. And if you think for the person that you're doing this for, then there is sustainability and there is a long-term gain, right? So that's many life examples, and I think that if you were to ask successful businesses out there, probably they might be able to also share success stories that along this similar thread, where we do things not for ourselves but we do things for the community, right? So I think that is something, and it doesn't matter whether it's so with this group of people that I spoke to, there were one or two of them that were part of the Business Network International, BNI, which I think we all know is business networking, and it's very commercially driven, right? And they go by the giver's gain mentality or the giver's gain mindset. So it's the same, except that we shouldn't think so to be so commercially driven in what we are doing. And yet, with the 90% of others that I spoke to, they were not part of this network. It was always about giving. It was always about giving without expecting anything in return. And I think that's something that we need to perhaps shift the focus and shift our mindset. Once again, it's a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, right? It's understanding that there is enough business out there for everyone to share. It's not that if there are 1,000 students out there, I want all 1,000 of them to come to my center. You can't expect that, right? So that's also something that we need to understand. Yeah.
This is something that I think the tuition industry really need. We need people to be more willing to share, willing to connect, willing to just think for other people. We are, as you said, even if 1,000 students come knocking at your door tomorrow, you probably cannot handle, right? How many can you teach? Yeah. So interestingly, right, next week we'll be interviewing the guy. The founder who brought BNI to Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, next week. So tune into our show next week.
For sure.
Mr. Mervyn Yeo.
Okay.
He's the one who brought BNI to Singapore.
Very
Amazing guy tomorrow.
Yeah.
Next week he'll be talking about networking. Yeah. Okay. So for our viewers out there, if you have any case study, any experiences of meaningful connection that you make for your friends, your clients, your students, your parents, and then it resulted in something that's something beautiful that turns up, right? I'll be very interested to see your comments. So please drop a comment to tell us about your story. All right. Okay. And next one, we would like to move on to. So we have done with the 3 tips, and then you shared about your case study. So okay, currently we do not have any more questions. So if our viewers want to still have any questions to ask Alex after the show, okay, we will invite you to join our group. So our past interviewees will be joining the group as honorary instructors, so you can interact with them over there. Now, Alex, I would like to ask you, right? Do you have anything to you want to promote to our audience that you can that you would like to invite them to join?
Sure. Right. So thanks for having me again, right, Jason? And I would like to take this opportunity to provide to 3 different individuals 1 hour, 60-minute consult, either specifically on how you might be able to leverage on your community. If you haven't started, let's get started. If you already have one in place, then what are the different steps that you might be taking to take it to the next level? So 3 individuals, just how would they be leaving a comment or sending something to
So
PIE?
this is really exclusive, right? We are talking about just 3 individuals who are lucky enough to have some time to talk about to learn from you about community building, right? So I would suggest this for this if you are interested, if you want to have this time with Alex, okay, so please leave a comment in and type community, all right? So just type community in the comments, right? So we will get back to you, okay? So the call to action, I repeat, is to type community in the comments section, all right? Okay, so okay, at this point, I would like to draw the interview to a close. Thank you very much for your time, Alex. I have learned a lot from you. I feel that there's more that I can learn from you. So maybe I'll buy you coffee another time. Okay, I learn more from
Anytime.
you.
Anytime.
Okay. So for tutors and educators who are watching this interview, we'd like to appreciate you for being with us, and we hope that you have benefited. If you feel that any of your friends may benefit from this interview, do share with them this link, and then they can watch it at that own time. And then please share with us your key takeaway in the comment section. As I mentioned just now, if you have any beautiful stories that you would like to share about how thinking for other people and how trying to connect people actually have some beautiful outcome, please feel free to share in the comments. PIE will be back next week. Okay, we'll have more great tips from Mr. Mervyn Yeo, as I mentioned just now. He's the person who is responsible to bring BNI to Singapore. Right, so he will be sharing about. So Mr. Mervyn Yeo is really the founder of, or the guy who started it all, the business networking in Singapore. So he'll be sharing about smart networking for profit next week. So remember to like and follow our Facebook page and join our Facebook group to receive information of what's to come. If you join our Facebook group, you'll be able to interact with our past interviewees who are there as honorary instructors. All right, I would like to thank Alex again. Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So to all our educator friends out there, see you next week. Stay safe and take care.